first day, and then we'll kind of move into it tomorrow. We'll finish that up. Your test, Katie asked when your test was. It is scheduled for October 12th, which is next Friday. And that's because you have Friday off this week and you have Monday off next week. And you only have a half day on Thursday. Okay, so with all of that going on, kind of mixed in, I'm just going to take the time and we'll review next week and we'll take the test. We need a good test grade on this test, especially because even with your test remediation packets, most of you got most of those questions wrong again for the second time, even though you had your notes. So we definitely will go over those and talk about them after the notes, but no, the packet's a long time ago. You don't need anything. I think she's got math right. Let's touch it. Okay, so anyways,
You say some or all of them or still had questions wrong?
no, some of them. Not some did fine. Okay, central tendency. Different measures of central tendency give information about where the center lies. Okay, and there's a couple different types that we have: median, mean, and mode. Okay, I know you've heard those words before, but the median again is the middle number. You have to put it in ascending order first. Okay, so you can't just like take the middle number with how it's given to you, but once you put it in ascending order, it's the middle number. The median is best used when the distribution is not normal. Okay, so if you have it like skewed left or skewed right, usually we use the median to determine the center point. Okay, the center of the data. If, you probably learned this a while ago, but if there are an even number of points or data points, then the median is the average of the two middle points. Okay, so like way back in probably like 4th grade or so, you like put the numbers in order and then you cross them off from both ends, right? And you find the middle number. Okay, but if it's even, then you're going to get to the middle and you're going to have 2 left, so you take the average of those. Okay, the mean is the average. We use this mu, which you guys have already seen, as the population mean. And we use something called X bar, it's like an X with a line on the top, as the sample mean. Okay, and we use the mean as the center when the distribution is normal.
Sorry, I'm blind.
It's okay, you can always ask. Okay, a weighted mean we don't see very often, but this is when it's used for data sets when different data points have varying levels of importance. So one like really good example that's you guys do all the time or think about all the time is your GPA. Okay. So let's do this example. Sarah got 2 A's, 2 B's, 3 C's last semester. What was her GPA for the semester? Okay, so for every A that you get, you earn 4 points. And then for every B, you earn 3. And for every C, you earn 2. So this would be a weighted mean. And so we're going to do the 2 A's times the 4 points. So you get 8 points out of your A's. And then the 2 B's times the 3 points, you get 6 points for your B's. And then 3 C's, 2 points apiece, so 6 points for your C's. Then you have to divide by how many grades you got. Okay, so you had the 2 A's plus the 2 B's plus the 3 C's that you're going to divide by. So that's 8, 6, and 6, so 20 over 7, which gets you a 2.85. Okay, so that's how you figure out your unweighted GPA, because you're not getting your honors points, but this is a weighted mean. Okay, and then the last one is mode, and that's just the most commonly occurring value. I'm going to add, this isn't on your sheet, but I'm going to add one vocab word just up here because I know it comes up on your test. Interquartile range. And this will make more sense once we get to the back, but I just wanted you to have it like with all the vocab so you could kind of go back. It's quartile 3 minus quartile 1. Okay, and again, we'll do an example of that when we get to the back and we're talking about the quartiles, because you probably haven't seen that, or maybe you have, but not for a while. But I just wanted you to have it kind of up with all the vocab at the top here. Okay, so there's a couple different distribution shapes that we talk about. One is symmetric, okay, or the normal one. And so that's just sort of like it builds and then goes back down. Okay, obviously it looks symmetric, so it looks the same on both sides of that. Okay, and this is when your mean equals your median. Okay, so like the middle point here is both the mean and the median. The mean, we use that U-shaped thing, and the median we just say M. Okay, then it can be skewed left or skewed right. I think, I mentioned this to you guys already. If it's skewed left, that means most of the data ends up being on the right side. Okay, so kind of like, I can't even make it go higher here. It's all on that side. Okay. And in this case, the mean is less than the median. Okay, so you have like some mean that ends up being down here, and the median is someplace up here in the data. Okay, that would make it skewed left. When it's skewed right, it's obviously the opposite of that. Okay, so the mean here is greater than the median. So your median is someplace down here, and then your mean is greater than it. That would make it skewed right. So I just always think of skewed left, all the data's on the right, skewed right, all the data's on the left. Okay, so again, I knew this is very vocab heavy today, but most of it you probably have heard already. Okay, then we get into measures of variability, and sorry if I still need that. Okay, measures of variability give info about how the data varies from the center. Okay, so measures of central tendency tell us like how do we find the center of this data? But then it's also important to find the measures of variability. And I do this like constantly as a teacher, because I'll put in grades and I find the average, right? So the average tells me what the center is, but then sometimes, let's say the average is a 75. Sometimes it's a 75 because everybody got like B, C, D range. Like everybody was real close, okay? So there's not a lot of variability there. Sometimes it's a 75 because half of the students got A's and half of them failed, okay? And then the average is to a 75. So the variability does make a difference in certain situations, because you want to know how is this data distributed, okay? Especially as a teacher, I want to know that. Are we all kind of getting it, or are some people getting it, some people not getting it at all? Okay, so range is the difference between the max and min data points. Okay, so let me just give you a quick example, because I think people get these confused sometimes. Let's say you have like 22 is the max and 3 is the min in your data points. Okay, the range then is going to be 22 minus 3, okay, or 19. The spread is when you write it goes 3 to 22. Okay, so there's a little bit difference there. The range you subtract, then the spread, you just write them out. I mentioned that early on in this class, but I think some people missed that on that test, so just wanted to go over it again. Okay, quartiles. It's used when the median is the center. And there's lots of steps. Okay, step 1, we're going to arrange data in ascending order. Ascending meaning smallest to largest. Okay, step 2, we're going to find the median, and that's the quartile 2. Second quartile. Okay, and this is equivalent equal to 50th percentile, meaning 50% of the data is above it and 50% of the data is below it. That's what percentile means, okay? That if you're in the 50th percentile, it means if you scored or you're taller or whatever we're talking about, then 50% of the people. Okay, there's 2 situations that can happen. If the number of data points is even, we just go to step 3. If the number of data points is odd, then we remove the median and go to step 3. Okay, step 3, divide remaining data into lower and upper halves. Q1 is the first quartile. Okay, and that's equal to the median of the lower half. It's a lot of writing, but it's really not that complicated once you start. There's just a lot of steps. Okay, this is the 25th percentile. Q3 is the third quartile. And it's equal to the median of the upper half. And that is the 75th percentile. Okay, step 4 is very important. We're going to write the 5-number summary. Number summary. Okay, 5 numbers. You have the min, then you have quartile 1, then you have the median, then you have quartile 3, and then you have the max. Those are your 5 numbers. Okay, and then step 5, we're going to use 5-number summary to create what happened there with the E? Create a box plot. You guys remember your box and whisker plots from like 4th grade? Yeah, we do. They just call it box plot when you get home. But it's the same thing. Yeah, I know. Box and whisker. We can call it that. Okay, so we're going to practice this. It has like more official language, but you're doing the same thing. Okay, so are they in ascending order? No? Which one's not? They are, right? Okay, so that's step 1, done. Step 2, find the median. Okay, so go ahead and count in till you get to the middle. $63, and it is the middle 63, right? Okay, so this one's the median. Everybody know how that was found? Yep. Okay. Then it says, if the number of data points is even, go to step 3. If the number of data points is odd, remove the median and go to step 3. So count them up. Or you should know it's going to be, should be odd, right? So we're going to remove the median and go to step 3. Step 3, divide the remaining data into the lower and the upper parts. Okay, so the lower obviously is below the median, upper is above it. Now we're going to find the Q1, which is the median of the lower half. Okay, so you took this median out. So you're just looking at these numbers, find the median there. Okay, so does the median fall between these two? Okay, so I need to find the average. Okay, so Q1 is the average, which is, you should not need your calculator. What number is between 54 and 58? Okay, thank you. Okay, so we got Q1. I don't know why this thing is like writing wherever it wants. Q1 is 56. Write down these numbers so we can make our 5-number summary. Do the same thing with the top or the upper half. Okay, so that is between 78 and 81, right? So Q3 would then be 79.5. The average of those. Questions on where those are coming from. Add them together, divide by 2 if you don't know what the average is. Okay. We did step 3. Step 4, write the 5-number summary. Okay, 5-number summary. So we start with the min. What's the lowest number we have? 6. Then it goes to the Q1, so 56. Then the median, 63. Then Q3, 79.5. And then the max. 93. Okay, so again, min, Q1, median, Q3, max. Questions on how you get your 5-number summary? Okay. Then we're going to make our box plot. Your box plot needs some sort of scale on the bottom. It doesn't need a vertical scale, but it needs a scale along the bottom. And it looks like I need to go from 0 to 100, so I'll just go by tens. You can go by whatever you want as long as you mark it. Okay, so we're going to put our min in. It's at 6, so that would be down here. I would draw the box probably before you try to put in the whiskers. So Q1 we said was 56. Okay, so I'm going to draw kind of one side of the box there. The median's at 63. Okay, so again, this is Q1. This is the median. And then Q3 is at 79.5, so almost to 80. Q3. And then the max was 93, so that's right here. Okay, then you can draw in your whiskers. So this is the min, and this is the max. Okay, so when we're looking at this box and whisker, like if you had to read something off of it, from here to here to the Q1, doesn't look like it went that far, sorry, all the way to Q1, that is approximately 25% of the data. It's going to fall in there. Okay, in your box is approximately 50% of your data. Okay, and then over here, approximately the other 25%. Questions on how to make your box plot? Okay, so if I ask for the range, range again is the max minus the min. So you would do 93 minus 6, okay, or get 87. If I ask for the IQR, interquartile range, I defined it on the front for you. The interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. So that is not going to be the same thing. That will be 79.5 minus 56. Okay, or 23.5. Do you see the difference between these two things? Yes? No? This one is the max point minus the min. The interquartile range is just Q3 minus Q1. Okay? Other questions here? Okay, we'll stop there. We'll do the rest of it tomorrow. Okay, we'll talk about variance and standard deviation tomorrow.